Hello, governor.
Yo, what's going down with you, boy? Happy Friday.
Hello. Happy Friday. It's actually good to be back. I had to take a bit of a mental break. I just was dealing with a lot last week, and I don't know. We've been doing this pretty strong, man. Every Friday for maybe about 3 going on 4 months now. So it's only the second time we were down. So, man, I am again. First of all, let me start with saying happy Friday to you, and I am extremely appreciative and thankful for you guest and co-hosting this live with me every week. I do appreciate it. Again, for all of those that are here, thank you. This is a media therapy session, a deep dive, and actually this week we're going to be talking about the series finale of the Sherlock series, featuring Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman, and it's season 4, episode 3, called "The Final Problem." Welcome, sir. Welcome, Centel.
Hey, brother. It's so good to be a part of this. I enjoy these freestyle Fridays with a nice little North Star of a theme, because we can really just like expound upon the other things on the fringes. It's just tons of fun.
It's such a good word, expound.
Expound upon.
Every now and then, I sound like to break into my SAT words. It's nice to expand your vocabulary. I once upon a time, I guess this was maybe 4 or 5 years back or so.
Okay.
And I was driving down the street, and so I was at the point where me and my now ex-wife, we were going through it, and we were on the verge of divorce. It had been brought up, but we were separated. And I felt blindsided by the decision. I knew stuff was rough, just not that rough. And I felt kind of blindsided. So, mentally I was damn near checked out. Like I was not in a good place at all.
Okay.
And I remember I was driving down the street, and it was just one of those things, how like when people are walking across the street, apparently when you feeling Billy Badass and you got a bumper, and you're just like, I'm not getting out of the street, I dare you to hit me.
Oh.
And it was just one of those times, right? And I was driving slow, and I let the dude cross, but he wasn't in a hurry or whatever, and this was on a major thoroughfare or whatever. But then after he crossed, I don't know, I guess he looked in the windshield and saw my face or saw something. And then it was him and someone else was with him. He yelled, shouted out some old racist stuff. And it just, listen, my boy, you got the right one today. Hold on.
I got time.
Put that in park. Yeah. And I just happened to be, now, even though we were going through it, I was on the phone with my ex-wife at the time. I lost it. In that second, I did not recognize me. In that second, it just, whatever it was that he said, I don't even remember what it was, but he triggered me to the point, I was like, today is the day. Today, listen, I told her on the phone, listen, when you get off the phone with me in just a second, I'm gonna need you to go check what we got in the bank, because I'm gonna need bail money. It was about to go down in the middle of the street, like it was about to go down, and she started hollering and screaming, "What are you doing? No, stop, don't!" And and it's one of those things that even though we were on the outs, we were in a bad place. That momentary, she very quickly talked me off the ledge, because at that point I did not care. I was about to listen. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you why people don't fool with me. He was about to get the business, and it's just, it was bad. And it's just, I've thought about that often over these years. I was like, how could I let myself how could I lose myself so quickly? I mean, it wasn't like he kicked my car, because that's a whole different, you know. And at that time too, I was driving my BMW too, my 750. Listen, if he killed my car, it wouldn't matter what she said. Not coming down. Like that's an immediate pop the trunk. Oh, that's almost like you just stepped on my Jordans. Those are two unassailable offenses in the black community. But I couldn't. I didn't understand, and still to this day, I really don't understand how I let myself get so bothered by that one act that I almost risked everything for something stupid, because my emotions, my mental was so out of whack. And I saw that in a way, watching Sherlock, you kind of get that, like, Sherlock is so far out there that he needs at all times really Watson to reel him back in and to be with the rest of us common people, because my dude, you're out there.
Way
and this was one of those particular episodes that you talking about triggered. Sherlock, Mycroft, even Watson himself were all triggered, and they were way beside themselves due to the addition of a new character that came in the last few episodes, but was revealed the last episode in Eurus, who it was the secret sibling of Sherlock and Mycroft. And that was a cliffhanger. That was a bomb drop, if ever there was one, at the end of the second episode. So just for a really quick recap. We find out at the end of the last episode that the woman who now was posing as John's therapist, his brand new therapist that he'd been into for about a week or so, or a small amount of time, also was the same woman who he had an affair with. And I don't know, did you get the sense that the affair was sexual, or it was just like texting?
I think he said that it wasn't. I think he said that it wasn't sexual. It's just he's just feel guilty that he's still confiding in another woman, which is a different kind of.
Yeah, it was an emotional.
It was an emotional. Yeah, it was emotional kind of cheating. He didn't physically cheat on her though.
Which the crazy thing about that is, I have heard some women say before that that's even worse. You know, because they say, you know, the physical thing can just be that, just physical. But they said, you know, like, this was different and it was worse for them. And I was like,
I mean, I respect that opinion. I don't feel that way, but I respect where you're coming from.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, no.
You know, and it's funny because, you know, people view things in a different light, in a different way. And I guess that you don't know how you're going to deal with anything until somebody hits you with that. It's like, you know, like I've heard guys, I've heard this when I say, it's like, you know, did you sleep with him? He's like, yeah. And he's like, he won't be that angry. But then he's like, but then did you do the extra stuff? Was it oral? Like, well, yeah. And then he like loses it. Oh my God, how dare you? You're dirty. Like, it's like, just, I don't know. And I guess, you know, people get triggered off different things. Anyway, we come to find out that Eurus was probably, she's the smartest of all of the Holmes children. She was what they called a generational talent. They equated Eurus Holmes, her intellect, to, you know, like Sir Isaac Newton type. You know, she's out there. And if you thought that Sherlock was smart, you know, and even it's crazy too, because the entire series we're reminded, Mycroft makes no qualms about reminding Sherlock that he's smarter than him. And, you know, and Mycroft, we see Mycroft operate in a space where it's almost like he is the government. Like he is the one man James Bond behind the chair. He just don't go out. He don't do the field stuff, but, you know, he's definitely the smartest guy in the room. And he belittles his little brother all the time. And Eurus seemed to be smarter than both of them put together, and to the point where she was scary. And I know that I remember early in the season where we had this thing with Sophie saying that sociopath is not a real term in the psychological streets, if you will. The sociopath is not a real term. But I guess if it's an accepted term, Eurus was definitely a sociopath. She had very little social skills, and she did stuff just for shits and giggles, including to her siblings, just because it's how she felt. So she had been, Mycroft had found a way, she had been locked up, because I think Mycroft's the oldest, and Eurus is the middle child.
Yes, from my understanding. Yeah.
And Mycroft, he was old enough to see some of the things that Eurus was doing, especially what she had done to Sherlock as a child. And he had her institutionalized, but not just your regular run-of-the-mill, asylum. No, he put her in the Azkaban Alcatraz of prisons, I guess.
Azkaban.
Yeah, this is Azkaban. You need to be in there with Voldemort, Bellatrix Lestrange. I mean, this is England. Yeah, you need to be locked all the way down.
No.
Where to the point where they even said, they wanted to limit her contact with any other humans. Like, don't nobody talk to her. Well, she'll go crazy. She's there. She lives there. Don't talk to her. They soon come to find out, it's like, well, apparently people there had broken rules and they've been talking to her. And she basically took control from the warden all the way down. The guards, she took over the prison from inside her cell. Where they let her out, she was out, just, this was crazy too. She's out. Just happens to ride the bus, the public transportation down the street with John.
Yeah.
Starting an affair with him just because, pose as his psychiatrist and meet with him. And like, that is extra level crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to break out, but not to do all this other stuff so I can go in disguise. And that's,
like, can you imagine? I think about sometimes I think about how silly some of this stuff sounds when you think about it in real terms. Like, she's sitting in her cell and she's just like, guard, get over here, let me out, find me some clothes, book me a boat, drive me over to this thing, get my bus tickets ready so I can head down to London. I need you to come back and pick me up about 5:45, so I should be done. Get the tickets right. So I was like, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Just to do this little thing.
Yeah. I need to be on the bus at 5:47 p.m. because that's the time that he shall get on. Yeah. And I will shoot him 3, maybe 4 glances.
Yeah, but you can't think that deep into it because it'll ruin it for you. So you just gotta roll with it. Yeah.
It'll mess you up. And to think that so in all of this, she alerts Mycroft that she may be on the loose. Sherlock at this point he is just now learning about her, and he's like, he feels betrayed, especially by Mycroft. He's like, how could you not tell me that I had a sister? And Mycroft's like, listen, you don't understand. You think you had a sister. You had a full-on psychopath that lived in the room next door to you. That's not what you had. And so they go to make sure that she's still in the cell, because it's been one of those kind of, it's like you thought Hannibal Lecter got loose.
Yeah.
They go to visit her, see if she's still in the cell. She is completely taken over the prison, and now she wants to play this weird-ass Squid Games with them.
That's another thing. Guards! I need you to go out and make my labyrinth.
Yes, I have a series of elaborate traps that...
Like, she had to have some guards on standby when she pushed the dudes over the sand that hung themselves.
Yeah.
Guard 8 and 6. On my call, I need you to push sucker number 1 off the ledge. Like, it's a lot that goes into like this full-blown villainy that we've been enjoying. All right, I'll stop.
Yes,
My bad. I'm ruining the
yes.
illusion.
Madam Eurus, what is your shopping list? What things do you need to carry off your villainous plans? Well, I need a vat of pig's blood. I need 17 peacock feathers, and yes. I need 4 dozen boxes of dominoes. And
Oh man,
37 matches. What?
that's just nuts. Yeah, like there was a lot of thought and plotting that went into that.
I always thought that though about anyone who, whenever you see any, so and like I said, today we're gonna be kind of all over the place because it's a lot of this topic. Anybody who has that kind of money and power and resources, I always thought that like, what kind of crazy do you have to be on to come up with this stuff? Like, can you imagine when Bruce Wayne said, you know what? I want to make a cave under my house, but I want it to be filled with the most technological, computers, and I need a special ramp for this big ass cyber, vehicle to come in and out of the waterfall on a road that no one knows about.
I feel like that would be like a really good HGTV show, and they would just call it Layers.
Yeah, Layers.
Like the people come by and they're like, I was helping building like the Fortress of Solitude for Superman. It was one of our more taxing tasks that we had to do because we had to ship all of this to the North Pole. You know how hard that is. Like,
my favorite part of that show would be at the end of the show where they show all the people who worked on this have mysteriously died. Like, no one who worked on these projects is now living. Like, no way you can tell me that Bruce Wayne put all that stuff in the Batcave, and there's anyone who is still around who can tell you. There's like, y'all looking for the Batmobile? How? Well, if you take the secret access road, them dudes are not around. There's no blueprints, so none of that. Nothing is around. So anyway, long story short about this wild ass episode to end off this series. They have these Mycroft and John and Sherlock go through these series of things, and Sherlock is in such a bad place because he's got the guilt over Mary. He's got this guilt on this. Him and Watson are kind of back together again. But if you saw the last episode, Sherlock had to go full out, get addicted to drugs again.
Heroin addict.
Attempt to kill a media mogul billionaire on live TV, and almost have that same dude murder him in his hospital room to have John come and save him and record it so that everyone could say, just so that they could be friends again. Yeah. You know what? I don't know.
That's crazy. That's wild. Like, you couldn't just pick up the phone? Just be like, hey, man, let's just chop it up over a beer.
Yeah.
Instead, not Sherlock. Sherlock was like, nah, I need to go through all of these different things.
No, and then not only that, I would have just called him to say, let's sit down and have a beer. But then when I got the DVD of his now deceased wife say, save him, save John, Sherlock, you need to save him. You know how I'm gonna save him? I'm gonna kill myself. Wow. So through all of this, Sherlock is still finding a way to connect with the sister he didn't have.
Yeah.
And then they go through this thing where throughout the episode, Sherlock is led to think that he had a dog, and a dog named Redbeard, and his sister murdered the dog because she was jealous of the dog and Sherlock.
Drowned the dog, right? No, what happened?
Yes.
She drowned the dog.
But what we come to find out is that it wasn't a dog. It was Sherlock's best friend, another little kid from down the street, somewhere in their neighborhood, who happened to have red hair. That was the code name for him, was Redbeard, because she drowned this little boy in a well. Like, apparently Lassie was not around, and Timmy's falling in the well. Like, go get him, Lassie. Lassie, Eurus done killed Lassie's ass too. So I mean, she was on one. So she didn't kill the family dog. She killed the neighbor, the little boy, because she was jealous of his relationship with her brother. She felt like she was being X'd out. So she's like, oh, really? Hold on. Let me go get my dolls, and we got something for your ass. And killed this little boy. And, long story short, they find a way out. Eurus confesses. It's caught on tape. Sherlock reconnects with her, and which is crazy because she's in this prison called Sherrinford. So they stick her back in the same prison that she's already successfully taken over. I just don't. It's like, you remember in the X-Men movie, they caught Magneto and they put him in a prison. And it's like, you know what? We figured out you can't be in a regular prison. We got to put you in a plastic prison, because if you're the master of magnetism and metal, nothing metal around here. But he still found a way to get out of there. It's like, you know what? We've caught him again. Now let's put him back in the same prison he was in the last time. Like, y'all are not thinking this through at all, are you?
You just don't get it, do you, Scott?
We didn't have enough purr.
Oh my gosh.
So this was the end to the series.
Yep.
And I know there's been a lot of talk, and people said that they want a season 5. Basically, really, they want season 5, not because the show was so good, because it really was. But season 4 was a little bit. It was a mind bender of a season. It was like,
there's a lot going on.
What the hell? Because really, if you think about the end of season 3, Sherlock just murdered somebody in cold blood, just shot him in the face.
Wow. And
they said, you know what? You're going to get punished. We're going to put you on a plane, a private jet at that, and we're going to fly you to another country so you can do some detective work for us. We're just so impressed by how you shot that dude in the face.
You got a job out of it.
Your punishment would be, we're going to give you a job. You go to another country on vacation for a few months.
Yeah, that's
do
wild.
Some reconnaissance. Yeah. And that punishment lasted all of 4 minutes.
Yeah.
The plane took off and turned around and came right back because they thought Moriarty was back. Yeah. And even that reveal in this episode where Eurus privately met with Moriarty, which explains a lot, because maybe that was how Moriarty got to Sherlock in the first place. And not only that, how he planned this kind of revenge from beyond the grave thing, and that's why if you go back to season 2, he had no problem taking himself out because he was still alive in the form of Eurus. He's like, no, I can take me out. That's a whole different type of resolve too. It's like, I'm gonna get you, and by doing that, I'll unalive myself.
Yeah. To this day, I'm still like, that was the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, yeah. Apparently, the bullet went through the part where you were supposed to have thought that plan through. Because
I'll get you by killing me. What?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Even now, you're like, huh?
Yeah. What? Because I know that I'm gonna live in your brain rent free. I'm just gonna be all up in your. Listen, at this point, it doesn't matter. You go on, my boy. No, not a good plan. Not a good plan at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. So, I have to do it because I always, and like I said, we're going to talk about, ways that maybe not to the level of Eurus or Moriarty or a lot of the other people that were the villains in this show. Lord, they're some special people. Even the very first villain, the very first episode we got, where the people were killing themselves. Remember, dude gave them a choice. They took the pill
that's
or
right.
whatever. Like,
yeah.
Dude, like that is a whole different level of cray-cray.
Yeah.
Oh. So the villains in this, I don't know if they just felt like they needed better, bigger villains because it was Sherlock, but there's people in this were quite special. But we've all dealt with moments of darkness, and I want to say this before we go on. While we will be talking about this, and some of the other people that will come on stage will talk about these moments, and I want to talk about from a personal point and a point of what we've seen in the media, so TV, movies, or whatever. I don't want anyone who gets on here, if you say something personal, do not incriminate yourself. So if you say something, I mean, I'm not saying that the feds, ain't nobody watching this stream, ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like, they might be more people watching it because Centel's on here, but ain't nobody watching, ain't nobody checking. So listen, do not, like these new rappers today, do not get on wax and say all your crimes. Someone may use this against you in the court of law. When they say be quiet, they mean that. Shut your face. So you talk about darkness, but talk about how you overcame it. Don't don't detail your crimes. And when I shot him in the face and then I stuck a knife in just to make sure that it was real blood. No, don't do that.
Oh, damn.
Yes. You get out here, you always like, you know what? Today it's Halloween. I'm gonna be Tekashi 6ix9ine. Start snitching. Don't do that. All right, I love my quotes. I got one.
Go for it.
And this is actually, it's crazy because this is a quote. This is J.R.R. Tolkien.
Okay.
But it's not a quote that he said, it's a quote that he wrote in one of the Lord of the Rings books. Actually, he wrote this. This was something that Gandalf said in The Hobbit. Saruman believed that it is only great power that can hold evil in check. But that is not what I have found. It is the small, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keeps the darkness at bay. And, I like that. Small acts of kindness and love are what can effectively combat evil. Like I said, when I talked about this story at the very beginning, me and my now ex-wife, we weren't even in a good place then, but still in that moment where I lost myself, she talked me off the ledge. And I will say, to her credit, I'm not sure that, her talking me off the ledge was for me.
Okay.
But more so for the 4 kids that we share, because me doing something stupid in that moment would have been devastating to my kids, and I can't have that. I can't do no time in nobody's jail, man. No, my kids need me, and I need them. So, what'd you think about that quote, man?
I think it's great, especially I try to think about things in today's term. A lot in the U.S. here, there's some national sentiment regarding, loving your fellow brothers and sisters that may not necessarily look and think like you, right? And we're kind of like regressing. And it's also globally too. It's not just happening in the U.S., it's happening in Europe as well. But I think if we try to do something large, like put somebody in a high position of power and force the narrative into being like, we need you to think this way. It may not necessarily come, with warm arms, maybe some resistance towards it. But these same people, if they were able to be exposed to things that went against their nature, things that people that don't look like them, people don't pray and think, or have relationships with people that are that they're accustomed to, and forced to do small things to show love, I think that would be have a way larger impact on just the whole community as a whole, the country as a whole. Like these smaller little things. If you hang around people that don't look and think like you often enough and act like a human being around them, you can have more empathy towards that. No big public leader is going to sway your thought. It starts like on the ground level. It starts in your community first. And until that kind of happens, it's going to be a lot harder for all of us to kind of heal unless it starts in a smaller space. So like you're saying, like the guy that bags your groceries, being nice to that person, or that bagger being nice to the other person, just those small little seeds that can compound over and over again. So I do think it does start more on the micro than it does on the macro when it comes to combating things like evil.
You know what? You have never lied, and I'm glad that you brought in the everyman, because at one point or another, or you may still be, we've all been the everyman. When I first moved to Kentucky, I moved the end of April, beginning of May. So there's only a few weeks of school left. And I was in I would have been in my 10th grade year, but just there's a whole different story. Circumstances, I didn't go to school at all during my 10th grade year. I skipped my 10th grade year of school. So when I got to Kentucky, it was the end of what would have been my sophomore year. And they said, when I got back, they said, well, look, we have a few weeks of school left. There's nothing you can do. They said, but you have enough credits. You took so many credits during your freshman year. If you take like one independent study class in the summer, you have enough credits to be a junior. And they said, so if you go to school now for the next, 3 weeks or whatever, that's just because you want to go. Well, I didn't know anybody. So I was like, miss me with that. I ain't going no damn school. Shit. But my mom was like, well, if you're not going to go to school, you need to get a job. And I was like, I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Put a few dollars in my pocket.
Okay.
So I got a job at my cousin, who was 3 months older than me. We were in the same grade. He worked at McDonald's. So I got a job working at McDonald's. And it was one of the worst jobs I've ever had. If you have not worked in fast food, listen, if you want to figure out the trajectory of your life, I suggest do that. Work as fast food, because it'll be that day you're like, what am I doing here? I need to fix this. This ain't it. I lasted 3 weeks. That's all. Till school was out. I was like, oh, it's summertime. Yep, I'm done. I couldn't take it. And I'm pretty sure I'm not incriminating myself.
I like how you had to take the real moment of thought there for a second. Hold on.
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah.
However, there was a movie that came out some years ago. And I remember when I saw this movie, I was like, oh, it's exactly like that. It was based around an Outback Steakhouse, Applebee's kind of place. It's a movie called Waiting, one of the first movies I saw with Ryan Reynolds. And when people pissed them off, for whatever reason, at this restaurant, they did the most deplorable stuff to people's food in the back. So in my young 3 weeks term and of course this was before that movie came out. Listen, when they had me working, they hated me. Because my cousin, they were very much like on the clock. When you making these burgers, like, you have 34 seconds to make this burger. I don't give a shit.
Let them wait.
Yeah. I was like, y'all don't pay me enough money to be in here hopping. No. No, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to play ball. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, major in this. Like, this will not be my life. Y'all can kiss my ass. I'm not doing all this. And I remember people would come in, like, I remember there was one time there was this particularly nasty dude on the front counter, and he was just cussing out people on the front counter.
Damn.
And there was this one cute little girl that worked with us, and she was almost in tears, and she said something about what this dude was talking and how he was talking to her. And, you could hear him, but I'm not really paying attention. And I'm making burgers or whatever. And I was like, oh. He said, what to you? Oh, hold on. What he ordered? Got you. It's like, oh, did I accidentally drop his patty on the floor? clutch the pearls. Heavens, no. Let me pick that up. Oh, it accidentally fell in the trash can. Hold on, let me
Yo.
wipe it off a little bit. Let me put that on there, a little extra flavoring for his sandwich. And just, I don't know, I must have been like 15 or something.
Right.
Dude, I was just so pleased with myself. I was like, yeah. I was just like, and then he goes and sits down in his seat and we in the back and I'm just watching. Yeah, take a bite. Oh, it's delicious, isn't it? Yeah, that's what you get, you son of a, and I just like, I know now that that's probably a crime or something like that. And to this day, I have told my kids, I tell everybody, listen, I don't order anything from any place where I can't watch you make my food. And I don't care if you're the most unpleasant, the worst person ever. I am the nicest person to come through any food place, establishment. I wait until I get my food. And then if I got some problems, then I'll address it. And I got to be able to watch you remake it or whatever. I do not get, because I was like, I understand. I've been there. I have been the nasty teenager who didn't care about this job in the least. And I would do some, telling what these kids probably do to your food now. They're probably putting Tide Pods on your food and, what I'm saying, just drop it down in their pants and give you a little extra flavor. And it's like, you're like, ooh, this burger is really salty. It's like, yeah, I played ball earlier. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but mama used to tell me even when I was a kid, she was like, don't ever disrespect anybody that handles your food, period. Just, even if you're mad, just don't disrespect them.
Big facts.
Just either, and there's the take back rule, right? You can't take anything back twice, right? You can take something back once, but you can't take something back.
But you
twice.
take it back twice now. You wildin', B.
Yeah, just don't eat it. Or
as a matter of fact, here's my thing too. And again, this is not criminal. And Sherelle said it perfectly. It's not a crime, but it may be morally dubious. So if you mess up my food, if I go to a restaurant and you mess up my food, and it's to a point where I can still eat it, but now I got to, like, I don't like mustard. I don't like onions. I don't think there's anything worse than pickles, because pickles have that juice that gets into stuff and just, there's only so much ketchup and stuff like that I can do to cover it up. You know what I'm saying? Just that ruins food for me. But if it's to the point where I can still eat it, I just have to wipe it off real good and cover it with ketchup or whatever to get through it. But I will not hesitate. You mess up my food, I don't take it back once or twice. I call up the store. Yeah, let me speak to the manager. Yeah, I go full Karen. Yes, you didn't mess up my food. Oh, sir, we're sorry. You know what? We'll make another one for you. You come here. Hold on. Let me write your name down in the book. Yes, because that means that I paid for this food today, but y'all messed it up. And it's an honest mistake, or maybe it's not an honest mistake. Maybe you just got some really stupid people back there working. I don't know. Yeah. However, that means, tomorrow or the day after, whenever I go back by this place, I have a free sandwich waiting for me, or they've my whole, my whole meal. It's just like, there's no point. I don't get angry. I just get me a free meal out of it. And this, the only time I will say something immediately is for my kids, because my kids won't, I don't know, it's my fault. I done raised them kind of bougie and stuff. And they'd be like, I can't eat this. If there's something wrong, one thing wrong, my kids will not wipe it off or do none of that. They're like, no, I'm not going to eat it. I don't like it. So I have to have it remade, but Is that a Chicago thing? They need pickles?
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. I like pickles too. I'll even eat pickled chips. I like dill chips. There's a thing out here in Denver. They call pickle shots. They'll do some kind of gin and pickle juice or whatever it is, and they do shots with it. I know it's vodka, not gin, vodka. So yeah,
and maybe and that's how love twists you. I hate pickles with a passion. Just that juice. I can't do it with the juice. My ex-wife loved pickles. Yeah. How I missed that red flag, I don't know. That should have been one of the first things to tell me, but no, skated right past it. I was like, you know what? I can live with it, boo. You know, I just should have picked up on that.
I remember I was a dishwasher, one of the worst jobs I ever had. Learned a lot. You said something that was really that really hit a core with me, and that is once you get a certain type of job, it kind of makes you reevaluate, what you want out of your life. And I worked as a dishwasher for an entire summer. And I remember the guy that was on us. I was always doing my job. I was kind of quiet, so I didn't really get like, the man wasn't really like on my back like that. But there was this one cat that he used to give him the business every single day. And we had if you worked in the kitchen, especially as a dishwasher, you got the rag, right? The rag where whatever the most vile, disgusting thing is, you got to pick off the plate or off of the equipment or off of the floor or whatever it is. You use that thing, whatever it was. And that supervisor used to come in and he used to be mad because, he'd come in and want his coffee at a certain time and this, that, and third. And my homeboy used to take that nasty rag after he got done whatever it is, and he used to wipe the inside of the cup with it. Every morning he wiped the inside of that dude's cup with it, man. So that when he got ready to pour his coffee, that's why I was like, that's why you got to be careful who you rock with, and who you mess with. You have no idea. The get back be real.
It does, man. Listen, you just reminded me of an awful period of my life. When I was in basic training in the military, I never worked any place as a dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I was in basic training, I stayed in trouble so much that the only thing they could do was put me on KP, you know what I'm saying, which is kitchen patrol. But we used to call it being a kitchen pimp. I was a kitchen pimp. And I was on, kitchen duty all the time because I was in trouble. And it's one of those things, that's a triggering thing for me. Like dishes right now, I will fight you over some dishes. Like my ex-wife, she didn't understand why I wouldn't do dishes because she would cook. She's a fantastic cook. I would not do dishes. I don't give a shit. I was like, listen, I'll spend the money. I will buy the top of the line dishwasher. I rinse them and I'll put them in. I'll take them out. I'm not doing no damn dishes. I don't. And she's like, I don't understand, or that was so long ago. You don't get it. When you had to do kitchen duty in the military, we didn't just do it for a few of us that was in my platoon. We did it for like damn near the whole base or everyone who ate at this particular cafeteria on this side of the base. That is thousands, with an S, thousands of men who come through and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner without fail. And when you started at 4:00 or whatever in the morning, because you know what I'm saying, you come and eat right after PT. After you do morning PT, everybody comes to eat breakfast. So you start at 4:00 in the morning, you get in there, start prepping the kitchen, and then you done. Dinner is, I don't know, 5 or something like that, 6, late dinner. So 4 in the morning to 8 at night, 9, 10 at night is when you're finished. All day. There is no stop. You got maybe a short lunch break or, a couple 15-minute breaks. Back in the day when people still smoked cigarettes, they have smoke breaks. I pretend I smoke too, shit, just so I could go out on a smoke break. I
can't lie. I can't lie. When I was a younger man and I saw that people could get like 15-minute breaks because of smoking, that was one of the reasons why I kind of was like, well, shoot, if I can't get, the only way I can get a break is if I smoke.
I don't give a damn. I'll pull the cigarette out and just light it and just hold it. I'm out here pretending to be Denzel.
I feel that.
Because it's like, because when you get 2 15-minute breaks, but the people who smoked is like they got breaks from other people who smoked who got it. It's like, you need a nicotine break. All right. So they might have got 2 15s, but then they got a whole bunch of 5-minute breaks. They go out, get a few puffs in, put it out, and run back in. I was like, oh no, I need them too.
Yeah, because that was before. You had to keep in mind, this is before the advent of phones. Well, for me, it was like before the advent of like smartphones. So you can't just sit there and just play on your phone. You needed that break. You needed like that little 10-minute getaway where you could just sit there. You see that oh my gosh, the Ben Affleck meme when he's just sitting there and just got that look on his face, like, oh my God. Yeah, you had to have that. Hey, sorry to kind of like kick dirt up. I know we're right about the 45-minute mark. I've been a terrible time.
As a matter of fact, you're right. No, I was just looking at it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and bring them to the stage and we just continue this talk, because I had some thoughts about the darkness. So I'm gonna bring to the stage. Frank and Sherelle.
Hey, what's going on, people?
Hey, family.
Hello.
Man, I would the thing about, man, when you're on kitchen duty, man, you are soaked in dirty dishwater, and I know that you know that is soaked all day long in dirty dishwater. Man, the dishes and stuff was piled up to the ceiling, and it just was never ending. Man, you smelled like mold, swamp water all day long.
Sticky and wet.
Dog, it's just, I had the worst attitude. And it was just, I would sit there and contemplate my life, and I was like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep ending up in here? But I had that problem when I saw stuff that was funny to me, I laughed. And, and in the military, you're not supposed to be laughing at every damn thing. So I laughed at everything. I thought shit was funny.
Everything.
Yeah. And I
you're not
stayed
supposed to
in
pay
trouble.
attention to yourself.
That's exactly what I did.
I never got in trouble.
Cooked.
I stayed in trouble.
I just didn't say anything. I didn't react. I didn't nothing. And then I just did what I was supposed to do. And I ended up the freaking troop leader the whole damn time. I was like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah. The only reason that they got to the point, because I can't sing, but I could sing. And I know that doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, I'm not saying like I can't go out on stage and be Usher, no shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
so you can carry a tune.
I can carry a tune, right? So on days that we ran, like on days where we were just doing, the calisthenics, where muscle failure days of conditioning, I was on kitchen duty. But on the days where we ran, which was every other day, they never put me on there because I led cadence. I'd be the one, saying, oh, King Cole was, so I would lead cadence when we ran. So they never put me on. And I'm like, damn it. I hated it with a passion. And listen, I'll tell you, I don't know how it was for you being a dishwasher. That led me to some very dark thoughts. I often have moments. Them drill sergeant people that got me in trouble, other soldiers. Yeah, I was like, we had some moments. We actually even had a blanket party one time. It was bad.
Oh no, I wouldn't put up with none of that.
I didn't participate in that, but I was a platoon leader. I didn't stop it either.
You just had the whole.
I didn't put up with none of that, because
for
if they
3 hours.
I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, you getting me in trouble by y'all stupidness. No.
He got us all. He got the entire platoon. We all got smoked for 3 hours because of his selfishness. Because where we were in basic, but we went to mess hall with other soldiers who were regular duty. So what we ate and what they ate were two completely different things. We ate this whatever slop you put on a plate to keep us nutritious and fed so we didn't keel over. People on regular duty, they got to come through and have burgers and steak or whatever the hell they wanted, ice cream and pudding and shit. And he saw it, he's like, can we go through this line? And we all look at him like, damn well we can't go through the line. What are you talking about? So he decided he didn't give a damn. He wanted some pudding. He was going to have chocolate pudding. And we all told him, don't go through the line. Put that line, like we tried to knock it off his tray, everything. He's going to eat the pudding. And of course, here comes drill sergeant. Oh, we just going to do what we want today. We going to have pudding. Ooh, it looks good too. He's like, oh, y'all, everybody, go to the line, get some pudding.
At that time, you might as well eat it, because you about to get cooked. So,
and a lot of people in the platoon did just that. They're like, we about to get cooked anyway. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I don't want to eat it so I can throw it up in 20 minutes. Like, you know, and then and no matter how we gonna lose. Because now the drill sergeant said, well, I might have went south on y'all if everybody had chosen to get up and get some. Like, we all stuck together. And I was like, that's some bullshit. You know, if you don't. Yeah. Actually, though, it was a great lesson because when I pledged for Cap Alpha Psi, when I pledged for fraternity, I had learned that lesson. I was like, nah, I got it. Nah. We got to stick together. Don't matter what we do, as long as we all together, we got to stick together. You know, and I was good. And when I went to school, I was good. When I became a Mason, like I was like, no, I know the lesson. I know what y'all trying to do. No, I know.
One band, one sound.
One band, one listen. One band, one sound. You're right. Now, since we're talking about dealing with darkness, and and like I said, please, whatever y'all say, do not incriminate yourselves. I have been fascinated for years now with the things that we see in media, where people sometimes do more than just dip their toe into madness, into darkness. And before we got started, Centel gave a perfect example, one that I didn't even think of, and I don't know why I didn't think of, because he just introduced this movie to me. So if you have not seen the movie, or if you've not seen our reaction on Centel's channel, go see the reaction to the movie Seven. Seven features Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is a new detective. Morgan Freeman is about to retire. And Brad Pitt's a bit of a hothead or whatever. He's married to Gwyneth Paltrow. And I'm not going to give the story away in case you haven't seen it. But those of you know what I'm talking about. There's a moment towards the end of the movie. What's in the box, man? What's in the box? And it's that moment where you have done the right thing all your life and you are a good guy. You help put away the bad guys. And you make you're going to suffer a lifelong consequence for a momentary decision. I will see all of you next week. Thank you. You know, what would I say?
God bless.
Got to be about this?
Yeah, there we go.
But even more than that, it's got to be about, how did I forget what I say myself?
You got two great catchphrases, man.
Yeah, but I'm trying to tell you, y'all over here dropping gems and stuff, and I feel like, so I had to write that down. Like, what's Terrell say? Yeah, y'all over here dropping gems. I just got this old lame stuff. Yeah, you some hearts. Oh, thank you, Jeff. All right, I'll see y'all next week.
All right, y'all.
All right, peace.